All right, part three, how you need to set up your house. Now, believe it or not, this is going to make a huge difference in how your kids react and how they feel. Okay. And it's a pretty simple process. Now, what you're going to need to do with me is you're going to need to take yourself back to probably age 8 or 9. Okay. Now, when I was 8 or 9 years old, we used to play a game called tag. Remember tag? Right? Not the app called tag, but the actual go outside, get sweaty game called tag, right? And just in case you haven't played tag in a long time, or maybe you haven't played tag at all, let me give you a reminder how it works. You get all the kids in the neighborhood, right? And in our neighborhood where I grew up for a little while, we probably had about 8 kids in our neighborhood. Ours was the corner house with a big grass front yard. Now, the way tag would work is you would all get together as a group, and more than likely, somebody would get picked to be it. Probably everybody said not it, and whoever said not it last was the person that was it. Well, we had one kid in our neighborhood. His name was Chad. And Chad was the athletic, football playing, fast running kid. I'm Ray. I am not a fast running kid. When I run, it looks like I'm running in slow motion. Okay. And so Chad would always be the first one up. And how it would work is we would all stand around Chad. Chad would turn around. He'd put his hand up against the tree like this. And he would start counting, 1 through whatever number it was, right? Probably 10 or 20. When he was done or while he was counting, all of us would go and we would find a place to hide. Now, we were playing in our yard, and most of the hiding places were pretty well known. But as soon as Chad got to whatever number it was, 15, he would holler, "Ready or not, here I come." Remember that? Now, I had this one hiding spot, and I would hide, and I would peek out, and I would see what Chad's doing. If Chad was coming my way, I knew I was going to be dead right away. But my hope was Chad was going to be walking in the other direction. So Chad would start walking in the other direction, and he would be flushing out kids. He'd be chasing kids. He'd be doing all that kind of stuff. Now, when Chad was far enough away, little slow running Ray would jump out of the hiding spot, and I would take off running as fast as I could, right? Now, as soon as I took off running, again, in slow motion, Chad would turn and he would see me and he would start running towards me, right? Now, what he was going to do is he was going to try to tag me before I put my hand on the base. So Chad's coming. I'm running as fast as my little legs will carry me. I am going. Chad's getting closer. I'm getting close to the base. I can see the base in my frontal lobe, right? And I reach out my hand. And as I reach out my hand, Chad goes to tag me. I move out of the way. I stick my hand on the base, and what I holler? Safe. I made it, right? Now, when I put my hand on that base and I hollered safe, I made it, there was actually this dopamine chemical that got released inside my brain, and it said, I'm okay here. I'm safe here. I'm going to be all right here, right? And there was all of these good feelings that came along with me putting my hand on the base. Now, here it is. Your child needs to come home from school, be able to put his hand on the front door of the house and say those same exact words. Safe. I made it. I'm going to be okay here. This is where I belong. And if a child can do that, a child will protect that space. So you need to set your house up where it is a safe place, right? Now, anytime I say that, parents are always like, well, what does that mean? A child gets to do whatever they want? No, not at all. All it means is that you're going to have rules in your house. Every house has rules, right? That's how we maintain our house. But here's the thing. Your rules are going to make sense to your kids, right? They're going to understand why that rule is there. And so if they can understand why that rule is there, what will happen is they will protect it. Now, the thing that happens to us as parents, when we tell our child to do something, clean your room, take out the trash, do your homework, and a child turns around, remember, their brain is driving that Ferrari, right? Doesn't know how to control it. They turn around and they go, why? And you look back at them and go, because I'm the mom, because I'm the dad, because I'm the adult. What you just did right there is you've short-circuited their brain a little bit. Now, the thing that happens is when they say why, we think that they're confronting our authority, and that's how we take it. But 99% of the time, they're not. The reason why they say why is because their brain is trying to figure out, why do I need to clean my room? Why do I need to, do these things in the house? So next time your child turns around and they say why, just go, because that's what we do as a family, right? Your dad goes to work every day. I go to work. We bring home the money. We help keep this house and groceries and lights on and all that kind of stuff. You're part of being the family, just cleaning your room. That's it right now, right? And so just an explanation goes into their brain and it goes, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I see so many parents who get in an argument with their kid, with their child, because their child says why, and they immediately take it as though they're confronting their authority when in reality they're not. We had a house in our neighborhood that was the safe house. Kids could come over to our house and they knew that they were going to be okay. Now, what did that mean? For kids, when they came over, we'd have a poster my wife made right by the front door, and it had all of these rules. I mean, it had a bunch of rules. Some of the rules were, if you're coming to our house, you need to expect that you're going to pick up trash. If you come to our house, you need to expect that more than likely you're going to be doing dishes. If you come to our house, there may be an opportunity where you're going to be vacuuming. If you come to our house, you're not going to make fun of other people. And not only did it have that rule, but it had an explanation for that rule underneath that. Every kid that came to our house, every high school kid, every junior high kid, we would make sure that they understood those rules. And I saw it happen. Because kids were in a safe place, they actually protected their environment. So I would see new kids come in and somebody would be playing a video game. We had a big TV, all that kind of stuff. The new kid would kind of make fun of the other kid who was playing a video game because they messed up or something. And I, a couple times, saw another student go, we don't do that here. We don't make fun of other kids here for that, right? So we had that kind of safe environment for my son's friends to come over, my daughter's friends to come over. Our house was the safe house. Like I said, did that mean kids could do whatever they wanted? No, not at all. Not even close to that, right? What it meant is that we were going to have really strict rules in our house, but kids were going to understand what those rules meant. Now, I knew that it was working because one day, our house had been the safe house for about a year and a half. One day, we got this knock on the door, and my wife opens the door, and it's one of the kids that come over to our house. It's their mom, right? And the mom looked at my wife, and she goes, "Hey, my child's Christina." And my wife was like, "Yeah, oh, I know Christina," right? She goes, "I got something to ask you." And my wife was like, "Yeah." And this mom really seemed upset, right? And she said, Christina got home, and she said that she vacuumed your house. And my wife was like, "Yeah, she did a really good job of vacuuming her house." And this mom goes, "How did you get her to vacuum your house when she will not vacuum my house?" And so my wife showed her the rules that we have. And so that is what you need to do, is you need to make your house a place that is safe and they understand the rules and how it works. I'm sure all of you at one point or another have driven over some kind of bridge, right? Now, if I don't know if you've driven over the San Francisco Bridge or you have a bridge that goes over running water or something underneath from your house right there, okay? Now, imagine this. Let's say one day they decided to take off the guardrails on that bridge. So it was just flat road with no guardrails. How would you feel in that situation? More than likely, when I ask people this when it's live, they're like, "Yeah, I'd be pretty nervous about that." I'm like, right. You'd feel nervous about that. Let me ask you this, the next question, right? How many times have you hit those guardrails? Every single time, parents will say, or people will say, I've never hit them. And I'm like, right. So that's what it is right there. Those guardrails right there give you this sense of security. They help you understand where the road ends. And even though you may never hit them, you need to have them there. So parents, we just watched the last two videos. Hopefully you did. The first one, how kids think different than us. The second one is the language that they speak. And this third one is, how do you set up that environment? Set your house up where kids can come home, put their hand on the door, and they can go safe. I know that I'm going to be okay here. Is that tough for parents? Definitely is. But this is the thing. You want them to grow up to be functioning adults in the community. You want them to be able to make their own decisions. When they get into high school, because that's the big push we have right now, are helping 8th graders get into high school, what you're going to want to have them do is be able to make their own decisions and know where those guardrails are.